Hello, this is Julie Kelly from Moonflower Studio, and I just married off a daughter at the homestead. And my studio, as usual, when a big, exciting event or family thing happens, turned into a gigantic junk room. And I have some other news on the horizon. I have my work in a local gallery artist co-op, one valley over from us at the base of Mesa Verde National Park in a little ranch town called Mancos, the Artisans of Mancos. And so I really need to organize my studio, especially to get ready for the Christmas holiday. So I thought I would share some color organization with you. I think those are always popular. This is my thread storage, and it is from the Container Store. It's Bisley is really great. I think there are multiple options for how you what you put your things in, but this is what's working for me for thread. And my thread and my uncut fabric square quarters and my using fabric pieces that have a fusible web on them, I organize in ROY G BIVs, and I'll put that acronym up here on the screen, and it is literally red is the colors of the rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And so that's how I just knocked my tea over. That's how I organize my colors. I had, when I was doing cross stitch design, I was using different thicknesses of thread, you can see all the hand dyed threads I have laying up here. I wanted to sort by which was thicker and which was thinner. I have some videos about that in previous posts. But now that I am going back now to just working on my own original collage, I don't have to keep track of anything. I can use whatever thread I feel like. So now I'm going back to a completely just sorted by color and not by thickness. So, red. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh my gosh, it's so yummy to look at. Orange. Okay, there's yellow. Now, if you look at my yellow compared to my green, I want to point something out. There's absolutely no reason to buy. Okay, I should rephrase that. My opinion, being a professional thread artist for a decade or so, or a couple decades, don't ever buy anything you don't love. You're not going to use that color. You know, I mean, if you're doing an embroidery kit or a cross stitch kit, okay, there might sometimes you be required to pick a color you don't like. But frankly, too, pick a green you do like. So I just don't really have a great opinion about yellow, apparently. This meets my needs just fine. There's all shades and values and different cool and cold yellows in there, cool and hot, warm yellows in there. So I don't really need to go to town on yellows. Obviously, when I go looking at a shop, the greens call my name. The blues call my name. And where's my oranges? The oranges call my name. And the reason there's not a lot of oranges in here, because a lot of the oranges I have wrapped already onto squares that I'm using. So, but back to the color organization. I've decided the way my brain thinks, and please put thought into how your brain thinks. I mean, get other people's opinions, but you're a smart cookie. You have eyes. You know what you lean towards. Try other people's systems, but also, make it your own. For me, in my head, reds and pinks are all kind of one category. So I keep them together. Where purples, and so this is my drawer that I'm trying to figure out right now. This would be my indigo violet drawer. And you can see like there's still reds in here. So what I'm doing, and when I thought to do this, and I should stop talking, is I am just not overthinking it. The first thing when I look at something and I think to myself, okay, that leans red or that leans pink. Those obviously are in my brain are purple, so I'm kind of making a pile up here. That to me is maroony, so that's red. That almost verges on orange. That's orange. That's an orange. That's an orange. Those to me verge orange. That verges orange. That's purple. These are maroony, pinky colors, so that's going to go in my red and pinky drawer. You will overthink this if you are like concerned about what goes where. So just don't do it. You know, just the first thought you have in your head. To me, that's orange. To you, it might be it might be a maroon, or it might be red. And you can change your mind. That's definitely red. That's maroony, so that would be red for me. These multicolored ones, I'm keeping in this purple drawer. That's definitely yellow. Because I don't use a heck of a lot of purple. So I'm just keeping them. My multi-variegated ones are going to stay in this drawer with the purple. So therefore, so now I have all these orangey ones up here. So that would be orange. That would be orange. That almost, we're going to talk about that in a second. Then we're going to talk about that. So just the ones that I think, okay, I'm going to go orange with those. That is yellow. So all these up here are definitely now the purple, you know, purple. That to me isn't purple. That's purple. That's purple. Do you see how fast I'm doing this? That I'm going to talk about in a second. That would be, oopsie, not that. That's a purple. That's purple. That leans purple. That's purple. Those are purples. That's more blue to me. That's purple, purple. These are definitely maroons to me, so they're going to go red. Where that's purple. So I'm going to, but see, this is, okay, something like this, you lay it there, and you're like, oh no, it's more red. You lay it there, and you're like, oh no, it's more purple. Do you see how that changes? Do you see when it's up against other things, it changes? See how now the red's coming out because it's by purple, where now the purple's coming out because it's red? Me, I choose to put this in this drawer if it's like that. You might have a different system, and that is totally okay. Okay, so I think that's all for that. These to me are, let's see, where's my green? ROY G BIVs. Those are going to be green. 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 That's just going to be up here. Green. That leans, that's green. What came in? Oh, I made those. Those are made out of magazines. Okay. So then we're going to get to these that I have left. And okay, so again, red, orange, yellow, barely yellows, that's okay. Greens, and I'll see even here, same thing. Sometimes something like this, you put it here and you're like, oh, is it more blue? Where's my blue drawer? Or if I lay it there, then I start thinking it's green. You know, I could lower you so you can see. So see if I lay it here, you're like, oh no, I think that's actually, you can't really tell. So see, it looks green. But then if I put it with green, it looks blue. I think it does lean more green. So we're going to keep it with the greens. Okay, so that would be in there. Okay, so what's left up here? Now, the way I have it is, like I said, our orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. Then, I haven't gotten this far. This is going to be whites, blacks and grays, and then I actually have 2 drawers for neutrals and browns. So I'm going to now organize the white, blacks, neutrals, and browns and come back to you. Okay. Then, so that's V for indigo violet. Then we have blacks and grays, whites and creams and off-whites. And then we're going to do neutrals and dark browns. Now, here's my pile up here. I'm going to start grabbing of the neutrals. And I would say that the distinction is a dark, richer browns, like earthy tones that you would use like in stitching the ground or trees or nature or animals. And then this is more for like people's faces, skin tones, and that kind of a thing. And again, it's your first reaction. Mine might be something totally different than what you think. And I have some gray stuff. I'm like probably yelling into the mic. So also I have some grays here. And the distinction between the tans or the neutrals and the grays is if they're more like a neutral gray, like they're a grayscale or they're dang close to being a grayscale. Obviously you can see purples and greens and other colors, but mostly this is like pirates. This is just guidelines versus like declarations. So mostly these are warm toned, and then mostly those grays are like the grayscale. And that's more of a, so that's like a gray, that's a gray, those are all grays, those are all grays and blacks. Okay, so these are more grays and blacks. Like you shouldn't see a lot of warm tones in that. And then those are more the warm tones. And then these are the dark browns or earthy browns or colored browns that would be for animals, the ground, the dirt, the trees, a mountain, edge of a mountain, those kinds of things. So I have some ones that I picked up. So let's go through real quick. So that would be, so just your first reaction, I'm going to say that is more of a neutral. These are, to me, dark grays. That's a dark gray. That's a dark gray. This, I think something like this, you could almost argue. And this one are earthy to me, but I'm going to put them with the other greens. These also, to me, are earthy, but I'm going to put them with the oranges. And you can see the second I lay that down, you can see what I mean by they almost lean more brown than orange. But you have to make a call. You know, and so that to me is more gray. That to me is more white. And that to me is more neutral. So, go through it again. My reds, pinks, maroons, leaning red, not purple. My oranges, even including ones that are more earthy, that could be a brown. My very few yellows, but that's okay. My abundance of green, including, again, the greens, ones that are a little bit more earthy. If I see green in them, I put them there. My beautiful blues. My purples and indigo violets. And also my variegated, which I hardly ever use in either thread or fabric. My grays and blacks. My whites and creams. My neutrals. This one, see, the second I pulled this out, I'm like, see, I already don't think that those are neutrals. I think those are browns. And my very large, I shouldn't buy any more browns, but I love all these rich colors, browns. So there you go. That is how I organize my threads that I have not started to use yet. The ones that I do use are organized the same way in these. These are ones that I've actively been using, and they're sorted, you know, kind of the same way. So there you go. Hope that helps. You know, if you are wanting to organize by ROY G BIV, number one thing I can tell you is just don't buy things you don't love, because you won't use them. Have a great day.